Good morning students. Today we are going to see Unit 5 Magnetism and Electromagnetism. Before we see today's topic, let us recall the previous class portion. Dear students, listen these definitions carefully and then study well. Magnetic field. Magnetic field is the region around the magnet where its magnetic influence can be felt. Magnetic field lines. Define magnetic field line. A magnetic field line is defined as a curve drawn in the magnetic field in such a way that the tangent to the curve at any point gives the direction of the magnetic field. Define magnetic flux. Magnetic flux is the number of magnetic field lines passing through a given area. What is magnetic flux density? The number of magnetic field lines crossing unit area kept normal to the direction of field lines is called magnetic flux density. List the properties of magnetic lines of force. Magnetic lines of force are closed continuous curves extending through the body of the magnet. Magnetic lines of force start from north pole and end at south pole. Magnetic lines of force never intersect. They will be maximum at the poles than at the equator. The tangent drawn at any point on the curved lines gives the direction of magnetic field. Magnetic effect of current. In a magnetic effect of current, the strength of the magnetic field at a point due to current carrying wire depends on the current in the wire, the distance of the point from the wire, the orientation of the point from the wire, the magnetic nature of the medium. It is very important question. The magnetic effect of a current. The strength of magnetic field at any point due to current carrying wire depends on the current in the wire, the distance of the point from the wire, the orientation of the point from the wire, the magnetic nature of the medium. What is called magnetic Lorentz force? H.A. Lorentz found that a charge moving in a magnetic field in a direction other than the direction of magnetic field experience a force. It is called magnetic Lorentz force. Now next one, Fleming's left hand rule. State Fleming's left hand rule. The law states that while stretching the three fingers of left hand in perpendicular manner with each other, if the direction of the current is denoted by the middle finger of the left hand and the second finger is for the direction of the magnetic field, then the thumb of the left hand denotes the direction of the force or movement of the conductor. Now let us see today's portion. Learning objectives are: understand the force between two parallel current carrying conductors. Know about the principle and working of electric motor. We already know that a current carrying conductor has a magnetic field around it. See this diagram. In this diagram, there are two parallel current carrying conductors. See here, two parallel current carrying conductors. Both the conductors are parallel to each other. Both of them are parallel to each other. Now, the second conductor will experience a force due to the magnetic field of the first conductor. The second conductor experience a force. Why it experience a force? Due to the magnetic field of the first conductor. Due to the magnetic field of the first conductor, the second conductor experience a force. Then what happens to the first conductor? That is, the second conductor experience a force. Then what happens to the first conductor? This first conductor will experience a force due to the magnetic field of the second conductor. So here the first conductor experience a force due to the magnetic field of the second conductor. Hence, the force experienced by the two conductors will be equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. See this diagram, both the forces here F1 and F2. Both the forces are equal but opposite in direction. That is, the force F1 and F2 both are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. For example, if F1 is equal to 5 Newton means then F2 also 5 Newton but opposite to direction, so the F2 becomes minus 5 Newton. Now, how can we find out the direction of force and direction of current in this diagram? That is, we saw that both the forces are equal but opposite in direction. Now, how can we find out the direction? By using Fleming's left hand rule. We can find out the direction of the force on each wire would be towards each other. See here, I1 and I2 and then F1 and F2. F1 and F2 implies force and I1, I2 indicates current. So here the direction of force in each wire would be towards each other. So the first conductor produces the force to the second conductor and the second conductor produces the force to the first conductor. So here the direction of the force would be towards each other. When the current in both of them are flowing in the same direction, here the current I1 and I2 flows in the same direction. See here, in first conductor the current flows upward and then in the second conductor also the current flows upward. So here when the current flows in the same direction, then both the forces also towards each other. So here the wire would experience an attractive force. What type of force here takes place? Here the wire would experience an attractive force. So we have to simply say that if the force on each wire would be towards each other, if the force are towards each other, then the current in both the wire flow in the same direction. Then here what type of force will take place? Attractive force will takes place. So here the direction of the force on each wire would be towards each other, mean that the wire would experience an attractive force. Now see this diagram. Here the direction of flow of current is in opposite direction. Here also the two parallel conductors are placed each other. Here the first conductor is parallel to the second conductor. See, in the first conductor the current I1 is moving upward and then in the second conductor the current I2 is moving downward. So here the direction of the flow of current is in opposite direction. So what happens to the force? Here the force of each the wire will be also in opposite direction. See here, F1 is moving one side and F2 is in opposite side. When the current is in opposite direction, then the force also in opposite direction. So the direction of force on each of the wire will be in opposite direction. That is, the wire would experience a repulsive force. Here the force will take place as repulsive. So the direction of flow of current is in opposite direction. Then the force also in opposite direction. So here the wire would produce an repulsive force. If the direction of the flow of current is in opposite direction, then the force on each wire will be in opposite direction. That is, the repulsive force will takes place. Now force on a current carrying conductors when viewed perpendicular to the direction of current. See this diagram. This diagram or the perpendicular view of the force on current carrying conductor. In previous diagram, we place the current carrying conductors parallel to each other. Now in this diagram, the current carrying conductors are perpendicular to each other. In the first diagram, both the conductors are perpendicular to each other. In this diagram, the current flows inward the wire. See here, see the arrow mark. Here the current flows inward the wire. See the arrow mark here. The current is flowing inward the wire. In opposite side also the current flows inward the wire. So the current flows in the same direction. So here the current flows in the same direction. We already know that if the current flows in the same direction, what happens to the force? The force also in the same direction. The force also in the same direction. So if the current flows in the same direction, then the direction of force on each wire would be towards each other. That is, here the wire would experience an attractive force. Wire would produce an attractive force. Now, see the second diagram. In the second diagram also both the conductors are perpendicular to each other. The current flows outward the wire in the positive side and the current flows inward the wire in the negative side. See the positive side, the current flows outward the wire, and then here the current flows inward the wire. So in positive side the current flows outward the wire and the current flows inward the wire in the negative side. So here the direction of the flow of current is in opposite direction. In positive side it is outward and then in negative side it is inward. So here the direction of flow of current is in opposite direction. Then what happens to the force here? The force on each of the wire will be in opposite direction. The force is in opposite direction like the previous diagram. Okay, so here when the direction of the current is opposite, then the direction of force also opposite. Now here what type of force? Attractive or repulsive? Repulsive force will take place. So from this we can understand that the direction of current is in the same direction. Then the direction of force also in the same direction. That is, here the attractive force will takes place. If the direction of the current is in the opposite direction, then the direction of force is in the opposite direction. Then the repulsive force will takes place. Now connection between electricity and magnetism. Before 18th century, people thought that magnetism and electricity were separate subjects. But Oersted experiment, it was proved that electricity and magnetism was a single subject called electromagnetism. Electricity and magnetism were united and became a single subject called electromagnetism. We already know that when there is a current, the magnetic field is produced and the current carrying conductor behaves a magnet. If the current is produced, the magnetic field is produced and the current carrying conductor behaves like a magnet. Now the question arises in our mind, that is, how was it possible for a lodestone to behave like a magnet when there was no current passing through it? Here our statement is, if there is a current, the magnetic field is produced and the current carrying conductor behaves like a magnet. But in lodestone, the current will not pass, but it behaves like a magnet. So this is our question. How was it possible for a lodestone to behave like a magnet when there was no current passing through it? The reason is the magnetic property arises due to the direction of the flow of current. The reason is the magnetic property arises due to the motion of electrons in the lodestone. In lodestone, the electrons will move. So due to this movement of electrons, the magnetic property will rise in the lodestone. So we know that in the circuit, the electrons flow from negative of the battery to positive of the battery and produce the current. If there is a current, then the magnetic field also produces. Wherever we have the current, there we have a magnetic field. In natural magnets and artificial magnets, the electrons move around the nucleus constitutes current, which leads to magnetic property. In natural magnets and artificial magnet, the electron move around nucleus and then it produces a magnetic property. So from this we can understand that every orbiting electron in its orbit is like a current carrying loop. Generally in all the materials, the electrons orbit around the nucleus. Whatever the object may be, in all the object we have the electrons. So these electrons orbit around the nucleus. In some material, the motion of electrons around the nucleus get added up, and as a result we have permanent magnetic field. Such material are called as magnetic material. That is, in some material, the movement of electrons around the nucleus get added up, and as a result we have permanent magnetic field. Such material are called as magnetic material. So in all the materials, electron orbit around the nucleus. Only for certain special type of material called magnetic material, the motion of electrons around the nucleus gets added up. Now next we go to the topic electric motor. What is electric motor? An electric motor is a device which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. Where the electric motors are used? We know that the motors are used in water pump, fan, washing machine, juicer, mixer, grinder, etc. Now, what is the principle of this electric motor? When electric current is passed through a conductor placed normally in a magnetic field. When electric current is passed through a conductor, this conductor is placed perpendicular in a magnetic field. A force is acting on the conductor. A force is acting on the conductor, and this force makes the conductor to move. So it is the principle of electric motor. Again I will repeat, when electric current is passed through a conductor. When we pass the current in a conductor, this conductor is placed perpendicular in a magnetic field, that is normally in a magnetic field. A force is acting on the conductor, and this force makes the conductor to move. This principle is very important. First we can see the parts of an electric motor. See the diagram, north and south pole of the magnet. It is a permanent magnet. This north and south pole are a permanent magnet, and this is a rectangular coil placed in between the north and south pole of the magnet. At the end of the coil, commutator is attached. It is called a commutator, and with the commutator the carbon brushes also attached on both sides of the commutator. Carbon brush is attached on both sides of the commutator, and then at the end of the coil an external circuit connection is given. That is, the one end of the coil is connected with a negative terminal of the battery, and then positive terminal of the battery is connected with a resistance, and then from resistance to brush. So these are the parts of the electric motor. So permanent magnet, coil, commutator, carbon brush, battery, resistance. Now let us see how a coil experiences a turning effect when placed inside a permanent magnetic field. So in this figure, a coil is placed inside two poles of a magnet, north and south pole. In between this north and south pole, we have to keep a coil. The coil is a rectangular coil. see this segment AB. In this segment AB, the current is towards B. Now look at the segment CD. In this segment CD, the direction of the current is opposite to AB. See here, the current in the segment AB, the current is moving towards B. Now what happens to CD? In CD, the current is moving towards D. So in both the arms, the direction of the current is opposite. In one side, the current is moving upward. In another side, the current is moving downward. So we already know that the direction of the current is opposite to the direction of motion. That is the direction of force. So the same concept is used here. The current is flowing in opposite direction in the segment AB and CD. Then the direction of motion of the segment would be in opposite direction according to Fleming's left hand rule. The direction of current is opposite in the segment AB and CD. Then the direction of the force also opposite according to Fleming's left hand rule. So when two ends of the coil experience a force in opposite direction, two ends of the coil experience a force in opposite direction, they rotate. That is, when the direction of current is along AB, the direction of the current is along AB, see this diagram, the direction of the current is along AB and CD, and then CD, the segment CD becomes DC, the segment CD becomes DC, and then the segment AB becomes BA. See this diagram. The segment, see in this diagram, the segment CD becomes DC and then the segment AB becomes BA. So here the direction of the coil rotate and then changes its segment. So the direction of the current is opposite to the direction of the force, that is the direction of motion. If the current flow is along the line ABCD, then the coil will rotate in clockwise direction first, then in anti-clockwise direction. Now see here, in the first diagram it shows the direction of current. Already we saw in the previous diagram. Again I will compare both the diagram and I will repeat. See here, the current flows in AB. The first diagram shows the direction of current, and then here the second diagram shows the direction of the force in the segment ABCD. So here the current flows AB and then CD. Now see here the movement is DC and then BA. Okay, so the direction of the force is changed. So if the current flows along the line ABCD, then the coil will rotate in clockwise direction. When the direction of the current is ABCD, then it will rotate in clockwise direction first. Then if the direction of the current will change as DCBA, the direction of the current is changed as DCBA, then the coil rotate in an anti-clockwise direction. So from this we can understand that if the direction of the current should be along ABCD in the first diagram, the direction of the current is along ABCD for the first half rotation, then the rotation of the coil is in the clockwise direction in the first half rotation. In the direction of the current is along DCBA, then the rotation of the coil is in the anti-clockwise direction in the second half rotation. Okay, again I will repeat. If the direction of the current is in ABCD, the coil will rotate in clockwise direction for first half rotation. See this diagram. Okay, now again the current moves, the current flows DCBA. Now the coil rotate in anti-clockwise direction for the second half rotation. Likewise, the coil will rotate continuously for each direction of the current ABCD and DCBA. For each and every rotation of the current, the coil will rotate continuously. Now, I told you we have to change the direction of the current for first and second half rotation. That is, for first half rotation, the coil rotate ABCD. And then for second half rotation, it rotate as DCBA. Now, how can we change the direction of the current? We can change the direction of a current by using a device called commutator. A small device called split ring commutator is used to change the direction of current. Now, let us see briefly how the split ring commutator is used to change the direction of the current. Now, see this diagram. When the gap in the split ring commutator is aligned with XY gap, terminals XY. Now, here in this terminal there is no flow of current. In this terminal there is no flow of current. Then when the current will flow in this coil? As the coil is moving, now this when this coil is moved, it continues to move forward, bringing one of this split ring commutator in contact with this carbon brush, X and Y. That is, the commutator is moving along with carbon brush. The one side of the commutator is moving with this carbon brush and another one commutator is moving with the carbon brush. Okay, so as the coil is moving, it continues to move forward, bringing one of the split ring commutator in contact with the carbon brush X and Y. That is, the commutator is always moving along with the carbon brush. Likewise, the reversing of the current is repeated at each half rotation, giving rise to a continuous rotation of the coil. So, for each and every half rotation, the commutator will rotate with the carbon brush and it will reverse the current and gives the continuous rotation of the coil. Now, next question. How can we increase the speed of rotation of a coil? That is, how can we increase the speed of rotation of a coil? The speed of rotation of a coil can be increased by increasing the strength of current in the coil. How can we increase the strength of the current? By decreasing the flux. The flux changed by changing the current. By decreasing the flux, that is by decreasing the magnetic flux, we can change the current. So, when the magnetic flux decreases, the current will increases. Both are inversely proportional. Next, increasing the number of turns in the coil. If we increase the amount of individual conductors cutting through the magnetic field, then the amount of induced EMF produced will be the sum of all the individual loops of the coil. So, if there are 20 turns in the coil, there will be 20 times more induced EMF than in one. The single loops of coil produces the current. When we use instead of the single coil, when we use a more number of coil, it produces a speed of the rotation of coil. So, that is, we have to saying that if there are 20 turns in the coil, the current also, the EMF produced also 20 times comparing with the one. Increasing the area of the coil. To increase the area of the coil. Increasing the strength of the magnetic field. How can we increase the strength of the magnetic field? By increasing the number of loops of wire around the iron core and by increasing the current. We have to increase the number of turns in the coil and then by increasing the current, we have to increase the strength of the magnetic field. How can we increase the strength? By increasing the number of turns in the coil and by increasing the strength of current, the strength of the magnetic field also increases. So, it is very important. How can we increase the speed of rotation of coil? The speed of rotation of coil can be increased by increasing the strength of current in the coil, increasing the number of turns in the coil, increasing the area of the coil, and then increasing the strength of the magnetic field. Thank you, students.